I've just come back from far north Queensland, where a friend showed me a photo of what stands between us and the ambitions and might of communist China. A couple of tinnies and a jet ski and not much else. We are sitting ducks, which is why we urgently need to develop our defences in the north and our manufacturing base. And to do this, we need to make use of all our natural resources, and that includes nuclear power. Our own nuclear industry would be capable of giving us the ultimate deterrent of a fleet of nuclear-powered submarines and, of course, cheap and reliable energy, free of emissions, if that's your thing, capable of helping us rebuild our manufacturing capacity. So I say to the coalition, do what John Howard did with the GST election. Go to the next election promising to revoke the ban on nuclear power in order to reach your net zero fantasy. The left will go completely bonkers and you will romp back in. Anyway, on a lighter note, I was delighted to see the launch 2 weeks ago of a new centre-right TV network in Britain that is already going gangbusters with a promise to fight cancel culture and woke politics. Indeed, with segments like Woke Watch and its boast of tackling cancel culture, some British fans have excitedly made comparisons to this program, Outsiders, and with good reason, but more about that in a second. Here's star presenter Andrew Neil launching GB News a fortnight ago.
GB News will not be yet another echo chamber for the metropolitan mindset that already dominates so much of our media. It is our explicit aim to empower those who feel their stories, their opinions, their concerns have been ignored or diminished.
Well, even that was too much for the rabid, feral left in the UK, who went nuts and, stealing the template from the repulsive sleeping giants and mad effing witches, online grubs that have continually attacked shows like The Bolt Report, Alan Jones, Paul Murray Live, and of course Outsiders here on Sky News Australia, and attempted to have us shut down by threatening and lying to our advertisers. A copycat group called Stop Funding Hate, or SFH, tried the same pathetic tricks in Britain. But Andrew Neil, in his typical blunt style, would have none of it and called the group out for the hateful mob they really are. Have a listen and substitute sleeping giants or mad effing witches or any other online activist groups for what Andrew calls SFH.
Yet a number of companies, some of them well-known brands, have decided to stop advertising on GB News. They've bowed to pressure from a fringe group called Stop Funding Hate, a misnomer if ever there was one. It's quite remarkable that serious, important executives in well-established companies can be so easily cowed. They've all taken the knee to stop funding hate. It's important that they and you realise to whom they are in thrall. SFH doesn't stand for a liberal, inclusive society. It's dominated by far-left agitators and cranks that push for advertiser boycotts of any media organisation with which it disagrees. Its default position is to smear anything it takes against as a peddler of hate.
But these leeches are only as powerful as the weakest member of any corporate body or media body. The craven cowards of the woke culture now infesting our boardrooms. Individuals who quite happily wallow in exorbitant bonuses and unearned goodies creamed off the hard-working taxpayer while they pretend to be morally superior to those who pay their bills. It's sickening. But Andrew had more to say, and he did not miss.
If advertisers want to see real hate, they should have a look at the social media postings of SFH supporters. They smear and threaten businesses and people who won't do their bidding with words like vile, scum, toxic, and many more words that we can't repeat here tonight. Yet through fear or ignorance, some companies do as SFH bids. Woke nonsense has reached the boardroom, and corporate capitalism is becoming the useful idiot of bigots bent on censorship. Now, I understand that in some cases it was not the bosses of the brands that pulled their ads, but their advertising agencies. Fair enough. There's still time for you to have a word with your agencies who work for you, after all, and risk doing you huge harm. But all these brands should understand that this boycott business can play both ways. GB News viewers are incensed with advertisers who've taken against us for no reason. Many have written to these advertisers to tell them so.
And that is, of course, the point. We must fight back. We cannot sit around and put up with this relentless assault upon common sense, rational thought, civilized debate, agreeing to disagree, and all the other normal tenets of our Judeo-Christian heritage. Any company arrogant and stupid enough to insult its potential customers by sneering and slandering the shows and the presenters that they enjoy watching deserves nothing but derision and contempt from those same customers. There's nothing to stop us boycotting the boycotters and nothing to stop us cancelling the cancellers. And when I say us, I mean you. Indeed, this weekend the ratings came out and yep, GB News is surging ahead of its dreary woke competitors at the ghastly BBC and the insufferable Sky News UK. As Andrew tweeted 2 nights ago, we're number 1 in our time slot. We have 3 times the audience of Sky News, this is UK, and 26% more than BBC News Channel, and we've only just begun. Hilariously, the UK Guardian were so freaked out by GB's success that last week they drew comparisons between GB News and, what a surprise, Sky News Australia. In a laughable piece, drawing on comments from the likes of the ABC's Paul Barry and some journalism professor from Melbourne that nobody's ever heard of, the UK Guardian wrote a massive article attacking GB News by claiming that it, quote, has borrowed heavily from Australia's Sky News in its focus and its formats. So what's wrong with that? Well, the Guardian then warned British readers about Sky After Dark before terrifying the Poms by telling them all about the dreaded Sky News Australia's most over-the-top panel show, Outsiders. Excellent. Always love a good plug. Thank you, Guardian UK. And if that wasn't enough to send woke young Pommy snowflakes scurrying for the smelling salts, then they labelled me personally as some crazy right-wing conspiracy theorist for saying that, and this seemed to really upset them, when I said that the Great Reset is an evil agenda by woke billionaires to dismantle capitalism that is being pushed via the next Davos Economic Summit and promoted by Prince Charles. Well, isn't it?
Now is the historical moment, the time, not only to fight severe virus, but to shape the system.
We have a unique but rapidly shrinking window of opportunity to learn lessons and reset ourselves on a more sustainable path. It is an opportunity we have never had before and may never have again. So we must use all the levers we have at our disposal, knowing that each and every one of us has a vital role to play.
The Great Reset is a welcome recognition that this human tragedy must be a wake-up call.
It's at the end, what the fourth industrial revolution will lead to is a fusion of our physical, our digital, and our biological identities.
Remember, this is them saying it, not me. Nah, nothing evil about wanting to fuse human beings with microchips run by the nanny state. Nah, that's perfectly harmless sustainability program designed to lower carbon emissions. Of course it is. Oh, and by the way, Klaus reassures you, Klaus Schwab from the World Economic Forum, that you will own nothing, but you will be happy. Brilliant. Where do I sign up for that one, Klaus? But I digress. The Guardian is right, of course. GB News does have intriguing links to specifically this program, Outsiders, and it's not just in their ratings success. You see, GB News is the brainchild of 2 remarkable individuals, both of whom, as far as I'm concerned, have one very important thing in common. They were both my boss. Andrew Neil, the chairman of GB News and its star presenter, is of course still my boss at The Spectator Australia. You'll remember Andrew actually appeared here on Outsiders when he was last out in Australia. And Angelo Frangopoulos, the CEO of GB News and the bloke the Guardian got their knickers in a twist over, was of course my and all our former boss here at Sky News Australia. And it was he who launched Outsiders in this studio in 2016. on the night Donald Trump won the election. So naturally, more than anyone else, I wish GB News all the best. And if putting together GB News, Andrew and Angelo were in any way inspired by outsiders, well, let's take that as the ultimate compliment. But more importantly, what the successful debut of GB News shows in today's supposedly ultra-woke world is that there is a real hunger for plain common sense and forthright views amongst everyday, rational, decent, conservative-minded individuals, frequently, by the way, former Labor voters, who have fled the vile wokeness of the modern left. As I said, the fight back against cancel culture and the fascist woke ideology can only begin when each and every one of us decides we too will speak up.